Let's go to Chris in D-Town, Dallas, Texas. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Dr. John. How's it going?
Partying, dude. What are you up to?
Oh, nothing much. Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. What's up, man? How can I help?
All right. So my question is, how can I best support my fiance with her bipolar diagnosis while also still taking care of myself and making sure that I'm good mentally? So
tell me about it.
What's backstory here?
What are y'all going through?
So it all started last year. We've been together 5 years. So starting last year, we had a pretty rough year. Started off, we lost my dad to cancer back in February of last year. And then fast forward to May, she graduated college, doing good, looking for jobs. And then she started getting just really, really depressed, like couldn't get out of bed. She ended up going into a manic episode and ended up wanting to hurt herself. We had to hospitalize her for 10 days. And, they got her stabilized. She got out. And for probably the next 4 or 5 months, she just had little episodes about every couple of weeks. I ended up quitting my job to stay home with her, take care of her, make sure she, didn't go out and do anything that was going to hurt her or anything like that. And that was really, really tough on me. A lot of things happened. We got into a lot of fights and, a lot of things were said, and it was just really, really tough on me.
A lot of things, you said a lot of stupid stuff, or she said a lot of stupid stuff to you?
It was a lot of, mostly, that was the first time that I had dealt with that. That was the first time I went through that with her.
Hold on.
And
I want you to I want you to pay close attention to your distancing language. Some tough things were said. That absolves people from hurt. Either you hurt somebody and you don't like who you became in those moments trying to take care of her, or you didn't know she was capable of saying some of that stuff and she hurt you. What was it?
Honestly, it was a lot of both of us.
Okay.
We both said a lot of things and did a lot of things that, hurt each other.
Okay.
And, for me, it was hard to kind of decipher, whether that was actually her saying those things to me. And that, like I said, that was the first time I went through that. And that was it's hard to hear a lot of those things. And so I reacted not in the best way to it.
Okay.
And so, that was definitely on both of us.
So are you back at work?
Yeah. So I started a new job. I ended up, having a hard time finding a job. I was at home for almost 4 months after that, after she found a job, and, things went back to normal. Well, fast forward to about 3 weeks ago. She was in a new job for about 2 months. It was her dream job. She loved it. It was pretty abnormal hours. And they kind of forced her out. The girl that was her boss just didn't really want her there, and then kind of gave her the option to either leave or stay in a toxic work environment. So we talked about it. We thought we made the decision.
Hold on. I want to make sure we're using affirmative language, okay? And I'll tell you at the end why this is important. In this current market, where it's very, very hard to find employees,
right?
It's been my experience that people are reticent to just like, I don't like her, I'm just going to be mean to her and try to force her out. Or can you, with like cleaning your glasses and looking objectively, is there a chance that your fiance was a terrible employee? She didn't show up on time. She snapped at people. She had little miniature episodes at work, and it was just too much.
I don't think she was a terrible employee. I think it was a learning curve for her.
Okay.
She was new to this industry, and she was learning and she wanted to learn.
Okay.
And they kind of put her in a position that, she either learned it on her own or, it didn't work out.
Okay.
And I don't think it had anything to do with her being a bad employee.
But clearly she wasn't able to get the job that they wanted done.
Yeah. Yes.
Or
but
couldn't
I
get it
think
done
there were some
in the way.
Unrealistic expectations out of her.
Okay. And I'll say, I mean, yeah, ultimately, here's the deal. You can't, as much as you want to, and you're a good guy, you can't fix her.
Right.
I would recommend with all of my heart not trying to fix the quote unquote bipolar, but instead focusing on how can I love her and support her while she addresses the behaviors that makes her life more difficult.
Exactly.
If you try to go after bipolar, that's a moving target. Different people will diagnose you with different things, and bipolar 1, and the hypomania is a little bit low, so we're going to roll you off to bipolar 2. The meds are just throwing spaghetti at the wall sometimes. And so there's a lot of toggling and a lot of fixing. And if you can get somebody who is truly bipolar 1, in bipolar 2 too, but to take their meds, you can see some extraordinary success.
Yeah,
There's
and
still going to be lows and still going to be highs, but it does make life much easier to live. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's the reason for what happened last year. She got off of her meds. She didn't like how they made her feel. And, she got off of them, and then that happened.
Okay.
And, I've really tried to be on her.
You can't, man. You can't be on her. You're not her dad. You're somebody who loves her.
Yeah.
And it's hard because the longer that's a parenting analogy. I don't do that. The more you intervene and confirm to her that she is broken and damaged and unable to care for herself in any capacity, the more you come in and try to take over and quote unquote be on her about taking her stuff and doing the right thing, the more you do that, the more her ability to get with her doctor and to follow her doctor's plans and to build that resilience and that muscle, it just atrophies over time. The helplessness increases. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that definitely makes sense.
What often, not always, and again, I would want to talk to her and make sure she's got the right psychiatric care. Often the greatest gift you can give somebody who is struggling with mental health, with their mental health challenges, particularly in something like schizophrenia, something like bipolar, one of the schizoaffective disorders, is that you be very, very well. Meaning you set the mark for, I am never going to miss a day of exercise. I'm going to get plugged into a spiritual community. I'm going to have my own friends. I'm going to eat as best as I can. I'm going to do work that matters. I'm not going to owe a bunch of people money, so I'm not stressed all the time. And what you're doing is you're creating an environment of peace that often somebody with bipolar doesn't even understand. It's different air. It's a purity of oxygen they've never breathed before. And instead of you bringing your chaos to an already chaotic environment and trying to demand clarity in that chaotic environment, doesn't work.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
And it feels like, let me put it this way, and this is going to sound harsh. If you said, I'm going to love you every day, but I'm not going to call you and check up on you every day and see if you took your meds. I'm going to trust you. And I know that you've been diagnosed with X or Y. In this relationship, we cannot lie to one another. Period. We have to tell the truth. Or I have to ask myself hard questions about being married to somebody who doesn't tell the truth. You cannot hit me. You cannot go off on disappear for 3 days or 5 days and end up with somebody that we used to know and then just roll it up. Like, That might be a function of your disorder. That might be a function of some of your manic behaviors. That is not something I'm going to tolerate in this relationship. So if you want to be in this relationship with me, you're going to have to be extra direct with your psychiatrist. You have to be extra intentional about taking your medication. You have to be extra intentional about being honest with me. You see what I'm saying? I'm taking bipolar off the table. I'm dealing with these behaviors because what you're going to do is you're going to end up her dad.
Right. And that's exactly how I feel.
Right. And that's not your job. Your job is to love her. Be her partner, not her father.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also find yourself after your dad passed away. Suddenly the world feels a lot less in control. It feels out of control. It feels chaotic and mayhem. And dude, I'm going to tighten my grip on this one relationship that I got left. And what you end up doing is you tighten your grip so much you strangle the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I feel like what I'm doing right now.
It's not working.
Do what?
It's not working.
No, not at all. I just feel like I'm pushing her away when I'm not meaning to.
Yes. Yes.
And it's just falling apart right underneath my nose, you know?
Yes. So here's the exercise for you.
Okay.
Stop looking at her like she's some sort of dysfunctional, broke down car that you've got to walk 9 miles to a gas station with one of those red gas cans to fill up with gas.
Mm-hmm.
She is a person, a friend, your girlfriend. You love her. Y'all probably laugh like crazy. When she's up, I bet she is a rocket ship to be around, huh?
Very much so.
Yeah. Like the funnest, my favorite friends I've got are my bipolar friends when they're up. They're a riot, dude.
Yep.
It's incredible. And it makes me forget sometimes the totality of our relationship. Because when things are bad, they're real, real bad.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I want you to stop looking like she can't think for herself and do for herself and exist for herself. And I want you to have a crazy conversation. Ask her this question. Say, hey, I've been trying to act like your dad, and I don't know how this happened. I was just trying to love you, and I'm a good Texas male, and so I try to love by dominating, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I love you too much. How can I best love you right now? Ask her that question.
Okay.
What do you need from me? And then tell her, I'm used to telling you to take your meds every day and all that. You know that. I'm not going to do that. That's between you and your doctor. I'll go with you to the appointments if you'd like. But at the end of the day, you've got to want to be well. And for her, meds might be a part of her life forever. They might just be. Great, cool. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. We're just going to make that a part of our life. And if they start to make her not feel good, then we're going to find different ones. We're not just going to quit because we know what happens when we quit, right? But again, she's got to want that. And you're going to have to practice not trying to lord over, but you're going to have to practice being with. And that means you're going to have boundaries that when you show up and she's 7 beers in, you say, I told you I'm not interested in being around you when you're drunk. You say things, I say things. I'm stepping out of this. If you go, I'm gonna. That you're gonna make those choices. I love you with all my heart, but I'm also gonna hold these boundaries. Right?
Right.
That's exactly how that goes, right?
Yep.
Yes. Or she calls you at 2 a.m. and says, I want you to come over and I need to be with you right now. And you say, I've got to sleep because I got work. Doesn't mean that I don't love you. It means that I've got to take care of myself. If you don't come over right now, I'm going to call. So if you do that, that's great. You're opting out of a relationship with me, but I'm going back to bed. I love you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And here's the other side, Chris. She might call that guy. She might get super, super, super drunk. And you might have to call 911, but you can't be her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You don't like that, do you?
No, it's just not that I don't like it. It's just it's going to be something that I just have to work on, and it's something we're going to have to talk about. And we got into therapy, and we were doing great. And then another episode happened, and our therapist was just like, I don't know enough about her situation. I think y'all should find somebody else. And kind of just left us hanging there. So,
okay.
We're going to look into somebody else, get back into therapy, and just figure this out.
Okay. At the end of the day, only person on planet Earth you can control is you, your thoughts and your actions, your boundaries and your choices. That's it. 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 So make the decision to ask yourself, what are the things I need to do to be well? What are my boundaries? Forget the bipolar diagnosis. What are my boundaries? You cannot tell me you hate me. You cannot tell me to go blank myself. You cannot sleep with somebody that's not like you can't get super high or super coked up and run around the neighborhood. Like, you can't do these things. I won't be in partnership with somebody. I won't commit my life romantically to somebody. I won't try to build a life with somebody who is unable to be integrous, be a person of fidelity. And I will love you, but I can't be your dad. And that's going to be hard for you. I think all of this starts with you asking her that one magic question. How can I best love you? Because the way I'm trying to have loved you for the last 5 years isn't working. I want to try something new. And you, my brother, are going to have to practice opening your hand up, saying, I love you, and here's my boundary. Appreciate your heart, man. Got to do something different this time. And yes, go find another therapist, one that will stick with you guys and that better knows how to teach people the skills of loving one another when somebody's got bipolar. It's out there. It exists. You can't have a happy marriage. You just got to work at it.